Did you know that over 60% of long-term relationships fail because one partner feels uncertain about the future? It's a harsh reality, but think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "We were together for years, but I never really knew where we were headed"? The truth is, when a man is emotionally committed to you, he won't leave you guessing. You won't have to decode mixed signals or wonder if you're just a temporary chapter in his story. Instead, he'll make it crystal clear, not just with words, but with actions. Take Emily, for example. She had been dating Josh for 3 years. Everything seemed perfect. Weekly date nights, good chemistry, and even the occasional "I love you." But something always felt off. Whenever she brought up future plans, Josh would deflect. "Let's just live in the moment," he'd say. "No need to rush anything." At first, Emily thought he was just being cautious, but as time passed, she noticed something. His future was always a solo story. He made career moves without discussing them with her. He planned vacations with his friends, but never brought up traveling together. And when she mentioned marriage or moving in, he'd laugh it off as if it were a distant, abstract idea, not something he actually saw happening. Now contrast that with Daniel. When Daniel met Sarah, he wasn't just interested in spending time with her, he wanted to build something. A few months into dating, he started using phrases like, "When we get a place together," and "next summer we should go to Italy." He wasn't just talking about the present, he was weaving her into his future. And here's the key, he didn't just talk, he acted. He invited her to family gatherings because he saw her as someone who belonged there. He made sure she was part of important decisions because in his mind, it wasn't just his life anymore, it was theirs. So let me ask you, have you ever been with someone who made you feel like a placeholder? Like you were convenient for the moment but never truly a part of their long-term vision? If you're constantly wondering where you stand, chances are you already have your answer. A man who's emotionally committed won't leave you questioning. He won't dodge conversations about the future or keep things vague. He'll be intentional, he'll make space for you, not just in his weekends, but in his life. Think about this. If a man can plan a guy's trip months in advance, why can't he plan a future with you? If he can set career goals for the next 5 years, why does he hesitate when you ask where your relationship is headed? The hard truth is, when a man truly wants to be with you, he'll make it known. He won't need more time to figure things out. He'll already know. And if he doesn't, then maybe it's time you figure out if waiting is worth it. Studies show that nearly 70% of relationship dissatisfaction comes from feeling unheard or unimportant. Think about that. It's not always about cheating or big fights. It's the little things, the small moments where you realize your words don't really land. You share something personal, something meaningful, and instead of truly listening, he nods absent-mindedly, distracted, or worse, forgets it altogether. That's why when a man is emotionally committed, he doesn't just hear you, he remembers. Take Olivia, for example. She had been dating Ryan for over a year. At first, everything seemed great. He was fun, charming, and always up for a good time. But over time, something started to bother her. She'd tell him about her stressful day at work, but the next day, he'd never ask about it. She once opened up about how tulips reminded her of her late grandmother, yet months later, when he bought her flowers, he grabbed a random bouquet with no thought behind it. And then there were the deeper things, her dreams, her fears, her little quirks. It wasn't that he was a bad guy, but she couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't fully present in the relationship. Now let's compare that to Mia's experience with James. They had been dating for just a few months, but one night over dinner, she casually mentioned how she used to love a rare brand of chocolate as a kid, something she hadn't had in years. She didn't expect anything from it. It was just a passing comment. But a week later, James surprised her with that exact chocolate. It wasn't about the candy itself, It was about what it represented. He had listened, processed it, and made an effort to show he cared. That one small gesture spoke volumes.